Business news now. Let's bring in our reporter, Ed Boyd. Ed, the wage growth numbers, that'll be in focus today and will be released in a few hours' time. The economists are predicting wages to rise 2.5% or thereabouts, and that pales in comparison to the cost of living at the moment.
Pete, we know the cost of living just keeps going up, and particularly inflation. So inflation's at 5.1%. Wages today, the expectation from economists is it'll be 2.5%. That's half the amount that is inflation. So in true terms, people's wages are going backwards, and they've been going backwards for more than a year now. And it looks like it's going to get worse because inflation's expected to creep up even higher to 6% by the end of this year. And there's no way that wages will get to that level. So it's pretty bad news for everybody out there. But from the Reserve Bank perspective, economists believe this is the number that the economists are expecting, but if it prints any higher than this, so if the quarterly number goes up by 1% over this March quarter, then they think the Reserve Bank could actually lift interest rates by 40 basis points next month. That'll bring the cash rate up to 0.75%. And that's really in line with what a lot of other central banks around the world are doing right now, Pete. They're lifting their cash rates aggressively to try and push down these inflationary pressures. So we'll find out what the RBA does, but they've talked a lot about wanting to see these wage growth numbers, so they are pretty important figures that we're going to get just in a few hours' time.
OK, tomorrow the unemployment numbers for April will be released, Ed. The jobless rate could fall below 4%.
This is what we said last month. We're expecting the unemployment rate to fall below 4%, down to 3.9%. The expectation is 30,000 jobs will have been created during April, but there's a chance again that the unemployment rate will remain flat, and 4% is still a very low unemployment rate for Australia. It's slowly continuing to creep down, and the expectation is in the next few months it will be below 4%, probably around that 3.5% mark, which is that what we like to call full employment, where everyone in the economy that wants a job has a job. So we're slowly getting to that point. We'll probably get to 3.9% this week in the month of April, but you never know, it might be a bit later in the year. But again, this is figures that the Reserve Bank looks at closely when they make their cash rate decision. And I think we are going to see a 40 basis point rise next month, Pete.
OK, and then we have the federal election on Saturday, as we all know now, Ed. So will the outcome of the election have any impact on the local stock market?
Well, I've had a look at the last few elections and how the stock market's tracked, and it has virtually no impact at all on our market. It's really global market forces at play. And right now, we've got technology stocks all over the world in free fall. We've got the war in Ukraine pushing up prices of various things, particularly oil and grain. So those are the main things that investors are concerned at the moment. And it's not what various policies are offered by the political parties in Australia. So don't expect any major shake-up from Australia's stock market on Monday morning when it reopens if we do have an election result by next Monday.
All right, Ed, thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.